My name is Elma Eden Baker, and I was born July the 1st, 1919, so I will soon be 100 years old, I hope.
I think you will be. What is the best thing about aging so far?
What is the best thing about what?
About aging.
Um, well, I think of all the things that I have done. The saddest part is that most of my friends that I have been in contact with through the years are no longer with us.
Mm-hmm.
But the funnest part of it is that I can remember the town and the houses and the people as they used to be. And it is somewhat different than what it is now.
Right. Do you have any nutrition advice for people?
Well, if you're like your grandmother, you just love to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, I have been eating lots of those small, red, sweet peppers that are just so good. And I love fresh vegetables in any kind and fruit. And it's a joy to be able to eat food that it hasn't come from a million miles away. It's right local, like the good old avocados and the
Mm-hmm.
strawberries and what have you.
True. Do you think that food has changed in your lifetime since you were a little girl? Has it changed a lot?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it has. When I was growing up, we had a big, tall car called a Studebaker that you practically needed a ladder to get into. It had running boards on the side, and it did not have glass windows. It had isinglass windows, and it had a front seat and a back seat, of course. And we did not have a refrigerator until 1937. We didn't have electricity until 1937. There were lots of things that we got along fine without, but it was nice when we got the new modern. However, the PG&E had run a big power line across our upper property with the understanding that they would give us electricity in our houses,
Mm-hmm.
house and the buildings, but they never quite kept their word. They just ran the electricity. So it was many years before we had electricity in our house. But
Grow a lot of your food, or did you buy it?
I think my mother bought nothing, perhaps some sugar.
Mm-hmm.
My father had built a closet for the kitchen, and he also built two big barrels. And he was really quite a craftsman. And one barrel was full of flour with a lid on it, and the other one was in a compartment. One side had sugar, and the other side had brown sugar, or something like that. And the shelf had nothing. The closet had nothing but shelves that had cooking built things to cook with. And my mother made pasties all the time, made saffron bread. I don't honestly remember much of her buying anything except saffron. She would tell us girls to go to Dickerman's drugstore and get 50 cents worth of saffron. Well, it was quite a big bag full of saffron. Nowadays, for 50 cents, you get 2 flakes of
Yeah.
saffron. Much different. So anyway, that's just one of the wonderful. My mother made all of our clothes. The sewing machine sat in front of the window at the end of the kitchen. It was never closed down because there were kids to make,
Mm-hmm.
and only learned to sew. She was a pretty darn good little seamstress. So we had a very good life. We were very, very happy.
Yeah.
And I can never remember my father coming home from work without immediately saying, "Hello, girls." But he went right to my mother and gave her a kiss, and then he came to talk to her. He adored my mother, which was mutual. So, do you want to hear all this blah?
Just one last question. What would be the number one tip that you would share with young people about aging?
What would I share with him?
Yeah, a tip, something positive.
Well, there's one rule that I obey. It's never lie. And kindness is the best thing. And we all went to the Methodist church, and every Sunday, those things I think are very important, no matter what religion you have. And I don't know, honey, just live a good life, be a good person.